Hello and welcome to Sheepdog Says. I mentioned, I think it was last week, that I was waiting for a booking on my MRI scan, and the doctors got in touch yesterday, I think it was, and booked me in for tomorrow night. I've got to go in at 5:30 tomorrow after, so I've got to leave work early, drive down there, and just basically wait there for an hour and a bit while they do it all. Um, I'm really petrified. I know it probably sounds a little bit silly. I hope it sounds understandable, really, but I just don't know what to expect. And I was thinking about it all whilst I was coming home today, just all day, to be honest, since they booked me in. And I think part of me's worried because literally every time I've ever needed some kind of medical care, my cartoon life has kicked in and stupid stuff has happened. I mean, when I was 7, I mean, when I was very young, I had an operation that meant I couldn't walk for maybe a week. And I remember trying to get up to walk and just flopping on the floor like a sack of bricks. When I was maybe 7 or 8, I had my tonsils out. And one of my earliest memories is waking up during the operation as they were removing instruments from my mouth and screaming and going nuts and seeing the kid next to me have his tonsils out in the operating theatre. And my mum told me after the fact that all she heard was a kid screaming and crying and hollering and just assumed it wasn't hers. And then someone had to come and tell her that it was me and that I'd woken up early. So I've never had a good experience of these things. The operations have always gone fine, but it's always been a bit emotionally scarring. I had some teeth out when I was in my teens to have braces and everything put on. And I was stupid with that. They were injecting me with like numbing stuff and they kept going, "Can you feel that? Can you feel that?" And I kept saying, "No, no, no, no." And she's like, "Are you sure you can feel pain?" And I was like, "Pain? No, I can't feel pain." And it turned out I thought she meant, "Can I feel anything?" So I could feel her just like touching me. Turns out though, what she was actually doing was stabbing me really furiously with a really sharp object. So I should have been in agony, but I just kept saying no. And then I was so numb that while she was pulling my teeth out, I bit her really tightly, and she had to go off a minute and sort herself out because I'd bitten her because my mouth just clenched shut. Yeah, again, just stupid stuff happens. So I'm nervous that there'll be stupid stories from this. Part of me is like, oh, that's great. It gives me something to talk about tomorrow. But part of me is just like, I'd rather this one seems a little bit more mental and a little bit more like I need it to just go smoothly and problem free. A couple of years back, so I've always had little problems with like my feet, nails getting ingrown and things like that. And one time I went for an op on that, and they're supposed to do both, but they didn't realise and forgot. And this one was so bad that I basically, when they said, "All right, we're done," I just went, "Oh, brilliant," and legged it. I couldn't walk, but went with it. And then the other one plagued me for the next however many years. I had to go for an op on that once, and they basically just said, "Sit here and it will stop bleeding at some point." And I was there for about 3 hours waiting for it to stop. It was, again, horrific. Finally, last year, I had it all sort of sorted so it could never come back. It'd never be a problem. They said to me, "Don't walk after the operation. Do not walk." And I said to them, "I only live round the corner. Once I get home, I'll put my feet up. It'll be fine." The doctor didn't really question it. He just kind of said, "Okay, whatever." I got home, took my shoe off, and there was blood everywhere. I didn't drive at the time, so basically rang them and said, "You told me not to walk." I walked home. I need to sort it out. So they said, "Come back." And I said, "Well, I can't really because I don't drive." So they were like, "Well, figure it out." So I limped back. I basically threw both my shoes in the bin once I got there because, well, one of them was just full of blood and the other one was useless because unless I was going to sell it to a peg leg, it was no good. So I learnt my lesson there, listen to the doctor. It shouldn't have needed saying really, but again, stupid stuff happening. I don't know. Maybe I just get given a bit of anaesthetic and then I'm just loopy and that's it. Last year, or no, it was the year before now, I had my gallbladder taken out because I was getting lots of pains in my side. It was really uncomfortable. I had to go for all sorts of ultrascans and all sorts where they kept saying, "Oh, there's no problem, there's no problem." And then suddenly they were like, "Oh, actually, you've got loads of stones. Let's get that out." That was a surreal experience because I basically just rocked up there on my own, went in, they laid me down, and this Eastern European lady kind of said, "Hello, Richard. I shave you now," and started shaving me. She said, "I look after you. Don't worry." And someone put something in my hand, and then they said, "Count down from 10." And I remember just going 10, 9, and then waking up and thinking, "Oh no!" Like my first thought was, "Oh no, I've woken up before the operation." It's not. I don't think it's during. Like I don't see myself, being operated on. And then I'm laying there and I'm just sort of looking around and thinking, this doesn't seem right. And then the nurse came out. I was like, "Hello," and I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Well, you're in recovery." And I said, "But I haven't had anything done." And she was like, "Well, the bandages on you mean that you probably have." And she was like, "Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cake?" And I was like, "Oh, brilliant." So they just gave me tea and cake. And that was really bizarre. I just remember getting up. I was all bandaged up. My wife came to pick me up. I bent into the car. I felt fine for pretty much a day. It was only when my kids came home and I was so excited to see me that one of them jumped on me, and then my side started hurting, and the painkillers had worn off. But generally speaking, that was all right. That was I was surprised how simple that was. I'm kind of nervous now. I mean, before that one, I Googled what I was having done and petrified myself. Do not look up on YouTube any operations that you're about to have, because they look horrific. As you can imagine, it probably goes without saying, don't look at them. But what I've basically done this time, which is what's freaking me out, is I've looked at what my blood test results could mean. And there's 1,000,001 options, and I've not done the obvious thing of looking at the deathly ones and gone, "Oh my god," but I've looked at like the middle of the ground ones and thought they're still not great, really. There's not many options. The best thing I think they can find is there's a bit of swelling, and they give me some tablets and it goes away, which would be great. But I'm nervous that I'd have to do some up the nose into my brain surgery stuff, which is just gonna. My track record just means that something stupid is going to happen. I was thinking on my way home, I'm nervous that I'll suddenly forget how to drive or something stupid and I'll be screwed. Everything I've learned in the past year just disappears. That'd be my luck. And I'll have to relearn driving and I don't know, whatever else, and figure out how to set up a camera on you. Yeah, I can do that, but you know what I mean? It's just, I feel like I don't want to be left worse. I'm just, everything's going through my head. It's the weirdest feeling because I know that nothing major there's nothing major about tomorrow. There's that slight nervousness that when they scan me, they go, "Oh dear God," and then I have to ring my wife and say I'm staying in for the rest of the week or something, which I feel like if it was that bad, I'd know, but it's just nerve-wracking. It's just, and I just think, as I say, every time I go into something, there's always some sort of weird story that happens from it. I mean, even the last time I went, the woman said to me, I went there to talk to the doctor, B. Wade. He asked me some really odd questions that I'm not going to go into on here because they were quite personal and odd. And I didn't understand how they were connected, but it turns out they were. But then the nurse kept saying stuff to me like, "Oh, your blood pressure's really good. Are you an athlete?" And I'm like, "Love, I'm massively overweight. I'm probably one of the most obese people in this building." And I just jokingly said to her, I don't think so, because like I'm obese. And she said, "Well, I thought you might have been a bodybuilder or something." And I thought, well, like, I don't have any muscle tone at all. I've got no muscles whatsoever. I'm so weak. It's ridiculous. Again, that's part of the reason that I'm going in for all these checks and whatnot, because I shouldn't be as like ridiculous as I am. But I guess that's all part and parcel. This one's like, I've done this through working health insurance, and I think that that must just be one of the perks of the being there, that they'll start just being really, I'm paying extra for being told I look nice and stuff like that. It's bizarre because I'm used to just being told to get in there, and you know, my other doctor said, "Why are you going private?" And I was like, "Because you told me it'd be 6 months," and they were all just really irritating about it all. But yeah, I don't know what to expect. I mean, I'll cover it off tomorrow, assuming that I come home and it's all right. Which I'm being over the top dramatic with that. That's fine. But no, I just know that every other time I've been, I think I've had like grommets put in my ears as a kid, and that I don't remember that going wrong. But then I was only about 4 or 5, so who knows? I remember being in hospital for a couple of days though, or it seemed like forever. I got a lot of Super Mario play cards from, I think one of my schoolmates' mums gave me some, and then my mum trawled around the local area collecting up every box she could find. Bless her. I had so many of them growing up, but No one's doing that this time. My wife said, "Oh, I'll be there," and I thought, "Well, that's the point. You won't, because I have to drive on my own after work. You know, if I'm there, you're going to be here with the kids, so no one's going to bring me Mario cards or look after me or whatever." I'll probably end up just having the boring drive home and then being told in 3 weeks' time to take a tablet and whatever, which would be good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Right now, I'm just, as you can probably tell by this ramble, a bit all over the place. I can't think of any more stupid stories of me having sort of healthcare issues, particularly off the top of my head. You know, most of the other ones have been like asthma attacks in the depth of night and stuff like that. Which I've had restless leg for the past 30 years, pretty much, maybe 25 years, because I got given steroids for having an asthma attack, and my leg's just shaken since, pretty much. And that's pretty bizarre. Again, I don't know if that's a common thing or if I've just got into the habit of doing it now, but it's doing it now. I've noticed it now. I'm thinking about it. It is like it. It's really. I'm just weird, as you can tell. All my stories are weird. I can't do anything about there being a weird story attached. Anyway, let me know in the comments of any stories you've got, or thoughts, or just, I don't know, take my mind off it. Whatever. Help me out. Subscribe, like, comment, all of that stuff. I'll let you know how I get on tomorrow. I'll do a recap of the week. I'm excited for the weekend. Pokemon quests are coming out, so you can expect a bit of that over the weekend. Although I'm visiting my sister on Saturday, so it'll probably be a late video. But yeah, Sunday's plan is I've got the X raid with catching Mewtwo, I think, and trying to get a Mew from the Pokemon quests. But anyway, enough of me rabbiting on. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening.